Continuing with our simple Revit model family, we have a pool table that we're working on. Previously laid out the reference planes and the dimensions and parameters in the reference planes, constraints, and parameters movie. Then we added some solid geometry for the surface of the table and a sweep for the rail going around. And in this movie, we're going to add some void geometry that will cut through the solid geometry for the pockets of the table. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to work in plan view for this, and I'm going to zoom in a little closer, like so. And on the Home tab, there is a Void Forms drop-down button. And if you open it up, you'll notice that all the same shapes can be voids as well as solids, so you can do extrusions or sweeps or whatever you need. In this case, simple void extrusion should do the trick. We'll go ahead and choose that. And I'm actually going to zoom in really close on just one corner pocket. Go over here and choose the circle. Now I know that if I was being really particular about my pool table, that the shape of this pocket probably would not be exactly circular, but for our purposes, we'll go ahead and use a circle. I think it'll do the trick just nicely. And I'm going to draw this circle at a 2-inch radius, and I'm just going to let the snaps take care of me there. If you've got it at some other size, you can click on the temporary dimension and adjust that. Go to the Modify tool, select that sketch line, and I'm going to move this to the right 1¼ inches. So I'm going to type 1.25, and don't forget the inches, because if you just press enter, it'll be 1.25 feet. Then I'm going to move it down the same amount. So again, you just pick any old base point, you start moving, and then you type your number in and press enter. So that kind of positions it about where I need it to be. I'm going to zoom previous, and I'm going to mirror that around this reference plane to give me the pocket in the other corner. Click Modify, select it, and I'm going to copy it from its center and snap. I'll have to roll my wheel in to get a better look at that reference plane. Watch the tooltip. It says horizontal and nearest. If I don't go horizontal, it'll actually shift it down, and I want to keep it in the same plane horizontally, but just snap it to that reference plane. Go ahead and zoom back out, and then I'm going to make a window selection to grab all three, zoom out far enough to see the whole table, and I'll do one more mirror, but this time around this reference plane, and that flips it over to the other side. So I'm actually creating 6 pockets all in one single void. Now you could do one pocket as one void and then copy that 6 times, and I find this a little bit easier. Before I get out of here, you'll notice over here in the 3D view, I have a similar issue that I had in the previous movie. I'm going to go to Set Work Plane to remedy that and move this up to the playing surface and click OK. That's not going to be entirely right because it's actually going to put it above the pool table, but it will get us in the ballpark. And then we'll fine tune and adjust it in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. And you will see the void forms appear in all views. You can see they're 1 foot tall, and that's because over here on the options bar, the default for an extrusion is simply 1 foot, and I didn't change that. While they're selected, they kind of appear in this sort of transparent glass appearance. If you were to deselect them, they disappear, and you get just the result of the void. And if I were to orbit my 3D view at the current moment, you can see that we're only cutting through the solid sweep because I told them to start at the playing surface and then the extrusion went up from there. Anytime you want, you can move your mouse around the general vicinity where you expect the void to be, and you'll see it start to appear. This is similar to what we did when we were trying to select room objects when we were looking at rooms in those movies. You just kind of get in the habit of knowing where to kind of move your mouse to get it to pre-highlight and then click, and then it will appear again in that sort of glass-like appearance. So what I'm going to do is actually click over here in the front view. I'll zoom in just a touch, and I'm going to use this shape handle and just drag it down until it snaps to the bottom of the table. Now I could drag the top down as well to snap to the top of the table, but it's actually fine the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and deselect, come back over here to 3D, and now you can see that the void cuts all the way through. And again, it's a fairly rudimentary pocket design, but it gets the point across. It'll certainly be recognizable as a pool table.